experience is proving that the best up-and-coming rock groups don't always germinate in big coastal cities. Sometimes it works the other way around. This is the story of a birth of a record label, featuring a band called, appropriately enough, The Good Life.
We're all playing music. I don't think Saddle Creek could exist in New York or LA because it's too competitive, whereas in Omaha, the community here is very supportive of everything. It was always like a very group effort. I think some people, that have the concept of a record label in their head, they would think it was very much like a business proposal type of deal where, oh, I'm gonna start this business and then I'm gonna find this talent and I'm gonna sign these bands and try to put money into it and spend a bunch of money trying to make it work. And we never did any of that. It all started in '93. Connor was 13 years old. He was playing acoustic music, just kind of in his bedroom or whatnot. And we heard him playing these songs, and Ted was like, we should record these. So Ted kind of put him in front of a 4-track, made him record these songs, and then his older brother wanted to release them. So he started what was Lumberjack Records at the time and released Connor Oberst Water, which was the first cassette-only release of the label.
That's what we're gonna do! Come on!
We kind of started doing that for the other friends because nobody had any money really. Everybody just kind of threw in whatever they had and put it all in a pot to release these records. It was in '96 when me and Mike, who's basically produced every record that we've put out, we kind of decided that there was enough good music that we should try to bring exposure to it ourselves rather than trying to get it put on other labels or other things. And we needed to change the name. Kind of went with Saddle Creek as it just seemed logical at the time as the road that brought us to our rehearsal space.
My heart has thought and continues to beat. I visited my brother on the outskirts of Olympia, where the forest and the water become one. We talked about our childhood like a dream we were convinced of, the perfect peaceful street that we came from. And I know he heard me strumming all those sad and simple chords as I sat inside my room so long ago.
As the band started to tour the country time and time again, eventually, just with enough persistence, people start to take notice.
I think part of what's going on now is we have some enterprising folks like the Saddle Creek folks who have been really diligently sticking to it, putting the records out, helping the bands promote the records, get on the road, and they've just done it and found an audience, thankfully, and just have continued to supply what they're asking for. I think these guys are talented. I think it helps that, youth is important. The market is for youth. We got some young folks, they're good looking and they're talented, and I think that's a factor.
And I think people are kind of intrigued by the fact that something could come out of Omaha. I don't think Time would have wrote a story about Saddle Creek if we were based out of New York. We've known each other since grade school, most of us, It's very casual and trusting, everybody knows exactly what everybody else wants, pretty much. It's very just we're all playing music.
want you. What's out there I don't
Tim, as a songwriter, is definitely the most influential. He was always playing in bands. We have dozens of tapes of old acoustic recordings. It was just recently with Good Life Records that we tried to let people hear some of that.
What I do in The Good Life is what I started doing when I was 14 years old or so. Having an acoustic guitar, I started writing songs that are, at least similar in form to what I'm doing today with The Good Life.
The Good Life, I think those guys have huge balls. The music is very personal. They don't shy away from being quiet and contrasting it. I think it's a nice, unusual blend of instruments they use at times, which makes it unique. And son of a gun, if they have an audience for it. I think that's so cool.
Standing up to stare awake. You start to blink, you start to sway.
Because of the motto, state motto, we thought it was a great way to unify not just our songs, but kind of just more of the pride that we have, I suppose.
You can't feel a thing, that's what you prefer. Yeah, you found a cure for it.
But I'm just really impressed with their guts to just play the music the way they're hearing it.
I'm really big on how well you get along, I think, more than how good you play. I initially picked Roger, our drummer, just because he's a really close friend. He's a great guy. And his style I thought would be great for The Good Life because it's more of a straightforward rock and roll. And we got Jihan because she actually is a very talented musician. We thought, well, we should start building a roster of people who can, have a real skill at writing parts. And Ryan was the last person we picked up. He just finished it off. He plays saxophone, bass, guitar, piano. We didn't really try him out so much as we just kind of hung out with him and realized that he was a nice guy.
Lincoln and Omaha scenes have always been terrific musically, but the focus, the nation's focus hasn't been on the Lincoln and Omaha scene, and now it is, and that's just a terrific thing.